More times than not, the stock market is either going up or down. If I had to give an estimate, I'd say maybe around 70 to 80% of the time. Maybe even like 85%. Because from what I've seen, it's very rare for a stock to just go sideways for the whole entire day. And I'm talking about the intraday, so very short term, anywhere from 1 minute to the 1 hour time frame. So with this information, that means your job as a trader is very simple. It's just to find out whether the stock is going up or down, north or south. Well, simple isn't easy, and it's easier said than done, right? When your hard-earned, real money is on the line, it's difficult to stay during a drawdown and not get emotionally shaken out. And that's why practicing and reviewing your trades are super important. So the question remains, how do you predict whether the stock is going up or down? Without wasting your time, I'll tell you the answer to that. You can predict it using specific patterns that show up every single day. So as you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to show you a perfect bull flag pattern that I took today and also explain to you how to spot a trend and why following a trend is super important to your success as a trader. Before I get in depth, hit that like and sub button for me. Now let's get some Benjis. So for those of you who are new, this segment, One Trade to Take, is essentially a concept that I made that just means that every day there's an A+ setup that you should look for, and you should just look for one great trade to take. That's the concept that I live by, and that way you avoid over trading, and also when you lose, you'll minimize your risk and your loss if you only take one trade a day, right? It prevents you from over trading. And so with this bull flag pattern that I've mentioned in the title, along with the concept of following a trend, I'm going to show you 3 different tickers today. Let's start off with Nvidia, the trade I took today. So with Nvidia, say for the first 45 minutes, it was pretty much consolidating, just chopping around, right? But what is it doing within the consolidation, right? It's making higher highs, stair stepping up towards the upside. And so I actually got in prematurely. It wasn't the best entry, but once it broke out of the trend line right here, which was a bit premature, I got in for some calls for the upside. You can see that I had to wait for about 20-30 more minutes, but I set my stop loss right here and it never closed below that. And overall, you can see that each of the lows are making higher highs, right? Or each of the lows are getting higher and higher, right? And so this is very bullish, and you can see that I took my exits right here on the subsequent move up, and you can see that I should have left a runner, something that I'm always working on. But you can see that this bull flag pattern was picture perfect along with the market, which was trending along with the stock. So it was pretty much A+. I could have gotten a better entry maybe before this breakout right here, so that I didn't have to sit through so much drawdown, but still never hit my stop loss. No reason for me to exit the trade. And in terms of my exit, that could have been improved as well, but overall made about $640, and I could have milked it for a little bit longer, but you're never going to catch the top and the bottom, right? Your job as a trader is just to get a piece of the pie, not get too greedy with it. Sure, I should have left a runner until the first sign of weakness, and so once again, that's something I could have improved on. But overall, happy with the overall trade. It pretty much fulfilled my anticipation and what I was looking for. And so yeah, it's pretty simple. You can see that on these consolidations, if you look at the volume, right, you can see that the red candles, the bearish candles, are pretty weak, right? Not much volume to it, kind of just a pullback sort of volume. And so once you see that on the subsequent moves, the volume is getting way higher, you can pretty much deduct the fact that it's bullish. With this increasing volume, it's pushing it to the upside. That's what it means, right? That a bunch of buyers are just stepping in and pushing the stock higher, right? And so I want to show you guys the SPY, the S&P 500, and show you that you could have traded this as well, but you should also be monitoring it at the same time when taking your trade, because this is the overall market and you want to see what the market is doing along with the fact that you're looking at your stock, right? So if you look at the S&P 500, on the 15th minute, it breaks up towards this upside. It breaks up towards this resistance level, now turning it into support, this 502 level. And pretty much it's just holding it, right? It kind of falls back down, and then buyers, push it back up. So now it turns it into a support. And what is it doing, right? It's pretty much trending along this EMA, and the price action is bullish, right? It supports this level, turning it now into a demand level. And you could get in anywhere of these pullbacks, right? If you like to trade the SPY, you could get in on any of these higher lows as a stepping higher, and take your exits up here. And so, well, it's not exactly the same pattern that I showed you with Nvidia, but this is pretty much a bullish flag, right? So that's with the S&P 500. And then the last stock I'm going to show you guys is SMCI. So SMCI, another pretty volatile, high-priced stock. You can see that for the first 10 minutes, it's kind of just chopping, and then on the third 5-minute candle, it breaks out of this, right? And so you could take a position here. I was actually considering it, and obviously I would have made a lot of money if I did, but didn't want to take it. It wasn't A+ for me, right? It's more of like a B+, C+ setup, where it breaks out of this trend line, and with the overall market is pretty bullish, right? And so didn't take that, but what does it show us later, right? Gives us a little pullback, towards this EMA, and it's giving us higher lows and higher highs. And then you see with these pullbacks during the consolidation, it's very low volume, and you can see that the bullish candles have way more volume than the bearish candles, right? And so it makes us move, from the open all the way up to 790 level, all the way up to $790. So it makes a huge move up, and this was pretty much the A+ setup, right? You could have gone in at the break of the trend line right here, or the break of this trend line right here. It's not always picture perfect, right? But this is pretty much a bullish flag, a symmetrical triangle, whatever you want to call it. It's a triangular consolidation. That's all you need to understand with these patterns, right? It's either going to be a rectangle, a triangle, or a parallelogram, right? If it's trending in the micro trend, right? And usually, more times than not, it's always trending. It's either going up or down, right? It's very rare that the whole day the stock is just gonna go sideways, right? And so, and if you have some skin in the game, you can also understand that if you look at the higher time frame, 2 days ago on Friday, it went from 940 all the way down to a low of 700. It dropped $240, right? That's a huge move down. And so what I would be expecting at that point is some sort of pullback, right? At least to the 33% or the 50%. If you know any Fibonacci levels, maybe the 33 or 66%, whatever levels you like to look at, as a technical analyst. I expect anywhere from a 30 to a 50% retracement, a pullback, right? Because stocks, they don't just go, straight down. They pull back. And so if it went from 940 to 700, that's about $240. I would be expecting anywhere from $100 to $120 move pullback, right? And so from 720, I would expect it to, at least go to 800. And so we'll see at the end of the day whether, it goes back to 800. But these are kind of things that you can anticipate, right? With some, experience and instinctual kind of intuition, right? So I just wanted to show you guys one simple bull flag pattern that took place today and that you could have caught. And bull flag, bear flag patterns, they happen every single day, whether it's going up or down, whether it's a triangle, a square, or a parallelogram. Those three shapes, it happens every day, right? Well, you could watch my previous videos if you haven't, if you want more info on that. I think I've covered it pretty extensively in those videos. But yeah, it's simple, not easy. It takes practice, takes repetition. If you want to get good at basketball or any other sport, you have to put the time in, right? It's the same thing with stocks. I've come to observe this every day when I review my trades and I review the stock market. It shows up every day. And so I put the pieces together in terms of, what's ideal for me, my personality, how I like to trade. And I'm simply just sharing it with you guys. But I think it's pretty clear cut and simple in terms of, how the picture looks, how the pattern looks, and how you can predict the stock to, move towards the upside or downside in your favor, right? And so That's that. Hopefully you saw how simple it is to make money from the stock market every single day. Personally, I'm up thousands of dollars this month using these time-tested principles and strategies that I share with you. I share all of this on my channel, so make sure to watch my other videos if you haven't. Why share this? To be honest and transparent with you, I think there's enough money for all of us to be making. You know, whether you make $1,000 or 10,000, 100,000, this is all peanuts compared to the big whales and billionaires in Wall Street and the banks that are controlling all of this. And most people can't even execute the given strategy because their psyche is all messed up. They're looking for the get rich quick scheme and the one-hit home runners. Trust me, I've been there as well. But with that kind of mentality, you'll lose it just as fast as you gain it. As a viewer, if you can gain one thing from the channel, it's to enjoy the process and focus on the journey. Focus on the timeless principles that I share with you and work on becoming the best version of yourself. Stop looking for the shortcuts and just put the work in. With that, you should be able to gain consistent and steady gains. All of us are on this journey together, including myself. And so I hope you appreciate the value that I'm sharing with you as I'm focusing on my process as well. If you liked the video, well, then like the video and I'll catch you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe.